much for agreeing to being here in the podcast with me today.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.
So actually, I have the honor to know you as my teacher for hypnotherapy.
Yeah.
And that is the topic today that I really feel deeply about sharing with the wider audience and with people, because I feel there's so much misconceptions around this form of therapy.
Yeah.
And I feel it's so important that people get the right message about it out there.
Let's do it, yeah.
But before we get into that, I would really love to hear more about your journey and how did you find this path for yourself. Like I know that you were a very successful entrepreneur, so you were actually, it's not like it was in your family, I guess, or was it?
Business?
No, I mean like the meditation or the hypnotherapy or all that path.
None of the above. So I was not born in a family with a business background. My father was working, and one gift you get when you're born in India is you are born in meditation. There is such a wide acceptance around meditation in India. So that was a gift for sure, but I really did not understand meditation as a science much later. What my gift was through my mother, who taught us gratitude as a prayer. And so that's what we grew up with. And my second gift came because I was born in a Hindu family. I went to Catholic schools all my life, and we were in a town that was a mecca of Sufis. So I got a taste of three religions very, very early on. And then I studied Buddhism and other religions, except Kabbalah. So, yeah, that's how it all started. Yeah.
That's so beautiful. Like, I love the story. In a way, like, I love the different cultures, and I just had in my podcast a friend, but he, at some point, he's from Philippines. And it's so beautiful to hear that you grow up with this gratitude in you, because here in Estonia it's not common at all.
Sure.
Like, you don't hear it. I think it gives so much for you as a person if you're growing up with this mindset already.
Yes. So I owe that to my mother.
Yeah, very beautiful. But how was the meditation? Like, you say it was like, it's naturally you're born in India and you're like surrounded by this.
There is a big misconception about meditation, what meditation is and what meditation has become now. And of course, anything that's touched by masses, especially America, it becomes a business. It becomes a mean to an end. Meditation was never supposed to be like that. It is not about that, And then there are the other two confusions are the meditation techniques and meditation. So, of course, there are many paths. Of course, there are many ways you can meditate. But meditation is just one. Meditation as a space is one. It's universal. And as a science, I like to replace that with the word awareness. So it's simply understanding the science of awareness. Then everything becomes very easy. Because otherwise, if you get lost in techniques and trying to meditate, that's where meditation becomes a very short love affair for most people.
Yeah.
So understanding meditation as a science, really understanding it as awareness, that is always there. We just slip in and out of it. So when I studied this as a science, and I studied active meditations, my life transformed because of active meditations, which I learned and understood with this mystic Osho. It became so easy. After that.
Well, I'm very mesmerized by it because I just finished the Osho meditation teacher certification.
Oh, really? Wow.
As well. Yeah. And but how long ago did you discover Osho?
Oh God, perhaps you were not born then. No, 27 years ago. My first visit to India for the purpose of learning meditation was about 27, 28 years ago.
Wow, so it's been a while.
It's been a while, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Are you still like doing the active meditations, or it's just...
I personally absolutely do meditate, not active meditations every day because of my schedule. But yes, meditation is a part of my life. I still train people. I'm part of the foundation's work, so I'm also training people for learning the science of meditation, active meditations. Yes.
Well, that's interesting. But do you remember the point where the meditation was like it transformed? You know, there's like, I don't know how is your experience.
Yeah.
Like, did you notice when you were actually living more in this meditative state? Because like you said, it's more about living every day
Yes.
in meditation. So it's not the technique you just do. It's...
You know, one of the good things is it's a complete thing. You know, meditation is the ultimate space, but without unlearning what conditionings we are given, what conditionings we are born into. So unless we unlearn those conditionings, which is the therapy part, you know, at the physical level, the body's conditioning, psychological conditioning, emotional conditionings, when we unlearn the conditionings, that's when hypnosis comes in, then meditation comes in. So with active meditations, what happens is while you are practicing active meditations, if you have a container and understanding, active meditations are actually very therapeutic for the body trauma, releasing emotional trauma, physical trauma from the body. And that science, in my view, is yet to be discovered, you know, because of course, from the outside, if you look at these active meditations, they look a little crazy.
Yeah.
You know, so except the dancing ones, you know, they're okay, you're dancing. But dance as a therapy is so powerful. So when we are using breath, movement, dancing, sound, catharsis, this science is now unfolding. People are getting to know and understand this in a scientific way. So if you Google these techniques of, I mean, New York Times has articles weekly now about movement, dance therapies, sound therapies, breath therapies. And these meditations were created almost 50 years ago, and millions of people have done them. So if people really understand these active meditations as a science for the body, they will get so many benefits. And I'll tell you another funny thing. If you put on your Fitbit, if you put on your tracking system, some of these meditations, in 1 hour, you're burning over 500 calories. So you,
I bet.
You know, like chakra breathing or, you know, dynamic or, so you are doing an emotional release workout, you are doing a real workout, and you are meditating at the same time, because all these techniques end with 15 minutes of silence. So they're powerful, and I hope more and more people experiment with them. There are many, so that's another good thing. It's not one. So there are 16 of them. So if you like sound, then go with sound. If you like dancing, go with dancing. If you like breath, do the breath one. So you can choose from many different techniques. And I think people will really, especially if they work with someone like you. So, you know, you are a professional coach, you are helping other people, and you have done it yourself. If they have a support system, like, it's not just about shaking, it's not just about breathing. So when you're doing that, this is what you're doing, you know. This is what is happening at your body level. This is what is happening at your emotional level. And of course, there are many scientific studies done on anger management and depression and stuff through these meditations. So if someone is practicing these meditations and has a support system of a professional like you, they can be life transforming very quickly.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that, because I am truly, well, I can speak of my own experience.
Yes.
And this last year really was very transformative for myself.
Yeah.
Because, I think it was amazing also that it lasted for a year, so the change could really be felt deeply. Because it's always about consistency, right?
Yeah.
Because
you got to do it.
But and I know there's so much research done on the OSHO dynamic meditation.
Yes.
I'm not so aware of all the others, but definitely they've done a lot of research now. I'm so glad to hear that actually the science is coming behind.
It's more and more. I mean, he himself said it that these are 200 years ahead of time, some of these meditations. So if 50 years into it, world is discovering them, they are practicing them, people are noticing the difference. Because, you think about nothing against mindfulness and Vipassana type of techniques. But these meditation techniques were invented by Buddha 2,500 years ago. And 2,500 years ago, it was a different world.
Yeah.
The human body's operating system was at a different level. There were 30 million people in the world, It was months and months before something new happened. It was months before a new input went into your brain. I mean, think about it now, what is going on with the human brain. So with 72% visits to hospitals being stress-related, so the human operating system has moved all into the head. We are overusing the head, and we're disconnected from the body. So that's why more than ever, I think active meditations are so powerful, because if nothing else, they connect you with the body. You start feeling your body more. And if you feel your body more, life already begins to change. You feel the breeze, you feel the sun, you feel someone's touch. That itself is amazing.
Yeah, that's a true gift.
Yeah.
Like I was very disconnected actually from my body, like for many years. And I am so agree that this is like one of the key things for people to get connected again with their bodies.
Which one was your favorite?
Well, Nataraja.
Nataraja, the dancing one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I started as a ballet dancer. I was doing ballet when I was like 6 until 16, so 10 years.
Wow. Okay.
So my background.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Is in dance.
Have you tried the laughing drums?
Laughing drums? No.
Oh, you go to try it. I'll give you the music. It's absolutely amazing. A mad meditation, but powerful.
Does it involve dancing?
It's pure dance.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a pure dance.
Oh, we didn't touch that one.
Yeah. It's in the app, OSHO app. It's music and instructions are all there. Try it. You will like it.
Yeah, thank you.
My feeling is it'll become your favorite.
Oh, I want to try now. Thank you.
Yeah, there's different music and different... but yeah, it's dancing meditation.
Amazing.
Try it, yeah.
Which one is your favorite?
Well, I started with dynamic. So... that was life-changing. And then when I completed several sets of long stretches, we used to do either 100 days or 21 days back in the days. And then I did Kundalini after that. And then ultimately what I settled into was a Sufi meditation, no dimensions.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. The whirling one. And so that till date is my favorite meditation.
Yeah, that's beautiful one as well.
Yeah, that is a powerful meditation. But then because of whirling, many people can't do it, but I love it, so that's my favorite.
Beautiful. Yeah. But I heard you were growing up also, there was like Sufism.
The music, yeah. I was in a town. There is a big mecca for music and for the Muslim religion in Ajmer. So we grew up with that music, Sufi music, yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And friends, of course, and India has a large population of Buddhist, Christians, Muslims, Hindus, Sikhs. So India has a good mix of, in our classroom, and we used to have big classrooms. There were always friends from other religions. And India is amazing in some ways, that all religions were acknowledged, and we had all religious holidays. So we studied and knew about our friends and their holidays, and we were invited to their homes. So it's already, the base is so broader, you get to understand that yours is not the only path or the way. So that's already a gift in India,
Yeah, for sure. The openness and acceptance it gives you.
That it's not just my way or no way,
But you're living in States right now.
Correct.
Did you move
Well, I moved after my engineering. I completed my engineering, and as all young kids. I just went for fun to America and then, of course, never came back. Yeah.
But so you went into, did you work as a 9 to 5 as an engineer at some point in your life?
Just for a couple of years, and then in America, no. I'd gone to America to visit, and then I got into this madness about entrepreneurship, So I started getting into businesses and creating companies. Yeah.
And then at some point you went into the meditation.
Where meditation got ignited, the preparation was there, and I unfortunately lost a very, very dear friend in a car accident, and that transformed my life. When I had not experienced death, I had meditated with meditations of Shiva and death. I had background of religious base, but at a very young age, at the peak, I lost a very dear friend, and when I experienced his death, that's when something inside me got ignited, and I wanted to understand that this cannot be life, like you're there and poof, you're gone in 3 minutes, turn into ashes. So that transformed my life. That ignited my interest in meditation too. And not meditation as such, but what is this life about, Like you cannot go to school, go to college, make money, and have kids and then die one day. There has to be something more. So it ignited a quest in me. I did not come per se to back to India to learn meditation. Meditation became a doorway to find that gift, So, and that I owe it to Osho. I heard him talk about it, that it's about finding that godliness within you, not the God out there, but the godliness within you, and meditation is the only way. I said, I want to know this, which what is he talking about?
Yeah.
And then I go and see this dynamic meditation. I'm like, he must be crazy. I'm like, if this is the way to find God, and this is a crazy way.
Yeah, that's true.
But you trust when you fly all these miles and you come to a meditation center. So you try, and then you meet people who have done this for years. So I was encouraged to do it for 7 days, and that's it. Then you just catch fire. Then something starts to shift.
Yeah, I think that's so important what you're sharing right now, because I think a lot of people are going through the same thought process. Like if you really look from aside at Osho dynamic meditation, you can have thoughts that it's completely mad.
Of course.
But I think it only takes 7 days, or maybe sometimes even just one practice. Yeah. If you experience it yourself, like you will feel the difference.
Absolutely. And you know what? The good thing is that a professional like you, when you get trained properly and you practice it, when you explain each stage properly, it's so science-based, then it doesn't look, if you understand the why of it, the what becomes very easy. So wonderful that you got trained, and wonderful that you will be able to, because then what you're doing becomes very easy.
Yeah.
So it's to be understood, otherwise it looks crazy. Yes.
Yeah. But how do you feel? Because I personally, I have always been, I don't know where it's coming from, like I have always been the person that I need to experience everything myself, because I believe what I feel. Like I trust what I'm experiencing.
Yeah.
But I know, and we can't go over or under it, that for so many people the research, the science, is so important. Why do you think it is?
Well, you cannot ignore the new generation, the cultural creatives, the new generation is really wanting to know the full story. They're not the believers. We grew up as believers, but my life changed when I undid my belief system. So the new generation, these cultural creatives, the young people like you and others, are questioning everything. They want to know the full story. Why I would not be who I am today if I did not question that. How can this guy sitting on a cow or hanging on a cross be God, So if I did not question that kind of stuff, my journey would not have started. So science, what science does, it supports it, the process, the how of it. And I'm a big lover of, there is an outer science, there is an inner science. So everything what meditation does, what hypnosis does, is very scientific. And now with why it has become so popular is because for the first time, brain has been exposed. The scans, the MRI scans are high resolution. Every part of the brain has been exposed, including the God particle. So when enlightenment happens, which part lights up, when this happens, what lights up.
Oh, wow. They can really...
Yeah.
Oh,
they have been able to dissect and pinpoint every part of the brain. So with that and neuroplasticity, that the brain adapts and changes, they're able to see that, they're able to measure that. So then it becomes a scientific proof that it is not a hearsay, that if you do this, this happens. They see the brain transform. And when brain transforms, the mind transforms, because mind is just brain in action. You cannot change your mind without changing your brain. If people are fighting with mind, in meditation and everywhere, but mind is just your brain in action. And there are ways, meditation, hypnosis, there are ways to change the brain. And when brain changes, your body changes, your mind changes.
Yeah, I think that was I love it how you have this gift to explain everything so easily, because I think it's so true. Actually the change happens in your body, but then you feel it in your mind.
Yes. Yeah.
So your thoughts change, your life changes after that.
And this is very true. And without understanding this as a science, you are a believer. And as a believer, at some point you lose trust, you just stop believing things, But if you have seen the transformation, simple things like brushing your teeth or working out or taking care of the body, not eating certain type of foods. So when you understand the science of it, you experiment with it, then it becomes your experience. If it becomes your own knowing, that's when it's fun. That's when change happens, because otherwise it's just knowledge. The knowledge has to become your knowing. And once it becomes your knowing, it never goes away. Then no matter who tells you what, you don't stop brushing your teeth, you don't stop meditating, you do what you know works for you. So I'm a big fan of science as a support system, because I travel in many countries. I teach in companies and corporate. You cannot work with science people or college students without explaining the base of it.
No, I admire it, because I love science, actually. It's I'm so grateful that we do have people who are actually doing the research and getting, because it does add credibility. And yes, I can feel good, I am this type of person, I want to experience. But I mean, we all have to. Eventually, if we want to have the real shift, we do.
Absolutely. And nothing shifts without experimenting with it and experiencing it.
Exactly.
So, you
but
have
science
to do it.
maybe helps more people to get into it, because there are a lot of people who want to cognitively or understand it rationally first.
Absolutely. So, and big companies, big corporations are doing a lot of research, from Google to, these companies getting into these devices that are coming. Now, that's another kind of a catch-22, People are becoming addicted and dependent on devices for meditation. That I can wear this headband and I can wear these, sound waves, and it'll change. It's a supportive thing, but we will see. These are new things, Of course, it relaxes the mind. Music forever has been a powerful tool for relaxing the mind. But does it transform the mind and body? That has to be seen.
That's another question. But how did hypnotherapy come into play?
Well, hypnotherapy for me was a gift, because I studied hypnosis purely for the purpose of meditation. I had zero interest at that time I was busy enough with my work and companies, but I was fascinated when I read and researched the connection of hypnosis with meditation. So I studied hypnosis, clinical hypnosis actually, for the purpose of meditation. I never knew that one day I'll be teaching this. So yeah, that's how it came into my life back then, over 20 years ago. Yeah.
So it was like kind of similar timeline.
No, much later. Meditation came in about 27, 28 years ago, and then 20, 21 years ago, hypnosis came.
But what was the link there?
It was that the unconscious, the concept of the unconscious mind, and how hypnosis can help to relax the unconscious mind, align the unconscious mind with the conscious mind's decision. So there was so much material on this that all the conflict that we face, the conscious mind makes the decision that I'm going to wake up in the morning and I'm going to do this and I will never do this again. But when the time comes, the force and the power is in the unconscious mind. 90% of our mind is unconscious. So, and we operate most of the time, most of our thoughts are repeat thoughts. So most of the time we are by default operating from our unconscious mind. So the conscious mind reads something, watches something, gets inspired, and makes a decision that I'm not going to do this, or I'm going to wake up tomorrow and do this. But when the time comes, at that time, our default operating system is in the unconscious mind. And unconscious mind has very good reasons why it wants to do what it has done for so many years. It has worked for me. It has got me here. It has its own belief systems. It has a reason, it justifies and rationalizes. That's what the unconscious mind does. And it keeps you there. It doesn't want to change anything. So when I understood that, I make a decision, I read something, I'm inspired that I want to meditate and I want to not get angry and not be jealous. But when the time comes, what pulls me out of that space, So that was my interest. And hypnosis, I read that is a science that, and now I know this for a fact, that it's an art of learning, communication with your unconscious mind. So it's the art of befriending your unconscious mind more than anything else. So our unconscious mind is not our enemy. It is part of us. It has a lot of force. Now imagine if 90% of your force aligns with your conscious mind. I mean, would you prefer to operate with 10% or 100%, right?
Of course. 100.
Yeah, exactly. So hypnosis is nothing else but the art of befriending your unconscious mind. And when it becomes your friend, then it starts agreeing and aligning with the decisions of the conscious mind. So imagine I'm making the decision in the night that I'll wake up in the morning to work out or meditate or finish my book that I'm writing. And in the morning, my unconscious mind is also in alignment with it.
Wow, that would be a dream.
And that's what hypnosis can help. So then the unconscious mind doesn't wake up and switch off the alarm clock. It wakes up and agrees together. Then your force increases. The true empowerment comes from that. See, otherwise, it's always a struggle because by default, who's going to win is the unconscious mind because it's a huge force.
Yes.
It's 90% of the force. So for me, hypnosis, I learned it as a language of communication, a language of changing the unconscious mind.
Wow. So important. Like it actually came out now what hypnosis is. Hypnotherapy also. It is like communicating with your unconscious.
Yeah.
And being able to okay, you're the master.
Well, you're pretty good with the short training, 9 days of training.
Yeah. No, well, you're amazing.
But you have a background, so you were able to grasp it pretty well. So.
Yeah, thank you. But yes, so it is like the communication we have the access to our subconscious.
Yeah.
and then we can make it work for us. So the conscious and subconscious are aligned.
They're aligned, yeah. So think about it this way, that we have these apps installed in the unconscious mind. So some of these apps were installed when we were little and helpless. You know, the labels that have been put on me. So we are, at a young age, we are in a different state of consciousness. We do not have a rational mind when we are very young. So in that young age, when somebody puts a label on us, when somebody hits us, yells at us, friends laugh at us. So we take that imprint on, and these become our operating system. These apps, and these apps are there. And now we grow up, and without our permission, these apps open and then they crash. They open and then they crash. And highly successful people, highly intelligent people are puzzled. They go like, how did this happen? How did I get so angry? Or how did I felt this emotion? It just took over. Nothing. It just, an app opened and that app crashed. So what hypnosis does is you can go to the subconscious mind or unconscious mind, or plant new seeds, or erase the corrupt code, or rewrite, or kind of upgrade your apps. There is no easier or better way. There's no easier or better way to change these crashing apps or outdated apps. That they're not needed. They were there. You kind of accepted them when you were helpless. We are all helpless when we are little, but we don't need them now. Yeah. So if now I have to live my life at my terms, the first thing I have to do is unlearn what was given to me by others. Otherwise, I'm always operating and doing, what someone else taught me.
Yeah, that's so
as
true.
Right or wrong, or good or bad.
Yeah, I think the need has to be there from ourselves, from the inner space, like the need for change, because we could go like, I don't know, all our lives and just behaving on our subconscious mind.
Sure.
But does it give us the true satisfaction and fulfillment and happiness?
Yeah.
But this is really the way to go back. And like you said, amazing metaphors about the apps. Delete the apps.
Yes.
Or upgrade the apps.
But I think you said something very important, that the need has to come from within. There's many, and nothing wrong with it. It's not a judgment against anyone. If you're happy, you're happy. You live. Yeah. But if you really want to feel the fulfillment, I think I don't feel that true fulfillment is possible unless you live your true individual intelligence in an authentic way. So if without having an expression for your individuality, your intelligence, unless it finds that expression, I don't think you feel fulfilled. You might have everything, but you don't feel fulfilled.
Yeah, I so agree. I think it's so important.
Yeah.
And to find that true self, I think it's always buried under the apps that are there.
Yeah, well, think about it. Half of the things that are given to us before our birth, I mean, from our name to our country, our religion, so many labels are stuck on us within the first 24 hours.
Yeah.
So where is this I? When does this I get a chance? So if for whatever reason this I gets ignited, that this quest gets ignited, then you have to honor it. And then meditation, hypnosis become powerful tools to connect with that.
Yeah, I think what I found so interesting is, because I'm in many fields, right? And I'm trying to put them all together. And what they all do, even though they maybe use different techniques, it's all about finding the I. It's all about connecting to the I. What do I want? Who am I? What's true for me?
Yeah, so if I don't connect with I, then I'm lost in trying to connect with the other. So if I'm not connected with myself, then hoping and expecting someone to connect with me. Connect with who? You know, and all these cliched sayings about be yourself, love yourself, accept yourself. I mean, who is this self, you know? Let's start from there, right?
So true.
Yeah, so let's start from there. And as I shared with you, my journey started for that reason, that, you know, meditation is a doorway, is a pathway to connect with the self. And so, yeah.
But can you talk a little bit more about maybe even the scientific side of how hypnosis works? Like what happens to the human body, or what's going on in our brain, or how does it
So
act?
what we do in hypnosis, we create a situation. We create a situation where the conscious mind can relax. The filter system. So we create a situation where the client has full access to their own potential, right? So they work, their conscious mind knows what they want. Hypnosis creates a situation by relaxing the body and the conscious mind where one can access their own power of the subconscious mind and make the change. So hypnosis, hypnotherapist or hypnotist only supports and holds the space, guides you to that space. And once you learn this art, you can practice this yourself, and that becomes self-hypnosis. But initially, you need someone else because we cannot do this work ourselves. You know, we have forgotten this art of relaxing our body and mind. So you work with somebody. You both agree to a game plan that this is where I am and this is where I want to go. And then using that as a framework, hypnosis simply is a tool that creates that space where the client can do that work on themselves. Yeah.
And if you're talking a little bit about the state, or how do we get there, because what I learned is that it's actually a very natural state that we operate even in our daily lives, like many times. It's this trance situations or states that we go into. Yeah. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, you know, people ask me this question, can you hypnotize anybody, you know? Can you hypnotize? And my answer is, you know, no more than a good sunset or a good book or a good movie can hypnotize you, you know, while we are talking. So when we watch something beautiful, when we are absorbed in this highly focused state in a movie, we are in trance. Now, the misconceptions come from what stage hypnosis is. The illusionist, magicians, illusionist, stage hypnosis is very, very different. You know, we're talking clinical hypnosis. This is a science. Now, thousands of years ago, of course, hypnosis was used as rituals in religions and other places. But hypnosis as a science has existed since 1700. In 1800, it was a full-blown science, you know. So that's, for over 200 years, it is being used in medical science. It's part of, you know, full-blown science now. So confusion comes from stage hypnosis and what movies make hypnosis to be. They give too much power to the hypnotist or hypnotherapist. It's not at all true. Not at all true, you know. In clinical hypnosis, hypnotherapist is only holding a space, all the power. Like, no matter how deeply you are involved in a movie, movie cannot make you get up and break a television set, you know. I mean, you might be involved that you have tears coming out, you know. So no matter how deep you are into your sleep and watching a dream, you know, you're having a dream, nightmare or whatever. But at any time you wake up, you know, and you're so the controls are always with the client. And that is the biggest misconception, that a hypnotherapist can make me do this or can make me say things I don't want to say. Those are all myths and misconceptions. There is no truth to them. Milton Erickson, who is almost the father of modern hypnotherapy, he did thousands of cases until his last day, has said that he doesn't know of one case where hypnotherapy, clinical hypnotherapy, has harmed anyone ever. Yeah. So, but I think it's evolving more and more as a science. every day now, because people are able to see the benefits in the brain, in the change, in the behavior. And sometimes I actually call it behavior science, of altering your behaviors. So I think it's only a matter of time. It'll become very black and white that stage hypnosis is where the confusion comes from. And clinical hypnosis is pure science and art. Powerful tool for transformation of habits, transformation of behavior, transformation of pain issues, psychological, emotional. Very powerful tool.
So yeah, I think this is so important. Well, you explained it so beautifully right now, but I think it's something that people really would. That's what I wanted to get out there. That people really make the difference between the stage hypnosis and the clinical hypnosis. Like it really is two different things, and like somehow our brains work kind of in a, I don't know what's the word in English, like in an easy way. It's like if you see the movie, we start believing it. We just need this one thought and it starts repeating itself, and then hypnosis becomes this thing. It's like, you can make me bark like a dog, and the image is gonna stay in my brain, right? That's why I feel it's so important to get it out there. Or maybe I feel the same happened with the word tantra. Like tantra became also like the same thing, like such a misconception there. And I think it's so important to really understand that it's maybe not so much about the word even, but it's about what it really is.
Think about this for a moment. You talk about tantra, you talk about hypnosis. Down the totem pole, these words are down here. Some of the most important words: God, love, abundance, grace. All of these are just words. For an idiot, these are words. Anyone who's sincerely interested, God, turn the page. Go to page 3, 4, read the book, understand it. God is not a word. Love is not a word. Hypnosis is not a word. All these, some of the most beautiful things in life have just become words. But I promise you, more and more young people, more and more intelligent people are turning the pages. They are going deeper. They are researching. They're finding out that if it has existed as a science, there must be something in it. Some of the biggest names in the self-help and transformation, personal development, are talking about it now as the most powerful tool. OSHO spoke about this. Therapy is the first step as a trinity. Therapy is like taking the weeds out from the earth. If you want to have something beautiful grown there, first you have to take out all the weeds and dirt. That's therapy. Then hypnosis is like planting the seeds of whatever you want to grow there. And then meditation is the flowering of that. Everybody out there is now speaking about hypnosis because they understand that what was imprinted in me in the alpha and theta state. When we are little, we exist in theta consciousness, alpha consciousness. So what is imprinted on me in that consciousness can only be erased in that consciousness. If I want to rewrite a DVD, I need a DVD player. I cannot rewrite a DVD just by writing another song on it. I need a DVD player. So hypnosis creates a similar space where you can go ahead and erase the old movie and put the movie you want, the code you want. So it's a pure science, and my trust is that more and more people like you, and you saw the proof in such a small country, how many professionals are interested and how many lives it has changed. So my trust is that it's going to become more as a science, and stage part of hypnosis will remain what it is, entertainment.
Entertainment, exactly. Good word. But you brought in the brainman, the alpha state and the theta state. So what we do in hypnosis is that we take your brain level to this alpha state, right?
When we are relaxed, when we are about to get into sleep, or when we are about to get into meditation, we drop into the alpha state where the brain waves slow down. And when we go deeper into our REM state, we are in theta state. So in hypnosis, somebody relaxes you, your body and conscious mind into that level. So your brain waves are then at alpha, minimum alpha or theta level to make the change happen. And now they have performed medical surgeries instead of using anesthesia. They have used hypnosis to relax the body to the extent that you don't feel the physical pain in the body. So pretty proven science now.
Yeah, that's why I just wanted to emphasize it, because you said like the example about the CD player is like if those apps get imprinted in you, or the patterns in the childhood in this theta state or alpha state, then in hypnosis when you're grown up, like we take you there, we take you back to the alpha or theta state where you can access.
Correct. Well, that's why advertising works. When we are mesmerized, when we are into television and we watch guns and violence and cigarettes and alcohol, these macho heroes and people doing that. So in that time, we are in that alpha state. That's why so much science goes in creating a 30-second commercial. So if a 30-second commercial can change my choice from Pepsi to Coke, now think about these kids sitting in front of the video games all day and shooting and killing people. All video games are nothing about. These kids are in trance. These kids are 100% in trance. And in that trance, they are learning nothing but shooting and killing. And if parents believe that this is not impacting their brains, they're kidding themselves, nobody else. So that's a trance right there.
Wow, that's so big. Yeah. I kind of knew it, but it hit me differently now, because it's so true. Every time we watch a movie, well, I guess most of the time, maybe very rarely, but we go into this relaxed state of mind. So in that state, it's actually
We're
imprinting. Like we're much more
100%.
like like what's the word in English? Like receptive to the information.
Totally.
We're consuming.
That's what hypnosis is. That's what it is. But when you work with a professional, he basically creates that space and container where you get access. Client gets access to their full potential. So you are working with your full potential, what you want to alter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then like you said beautifully, it's like therapy is taking out the weeds and then hypnosis is there to plant the seeds.
The new seeds,
So it's not like you're watching a movie and like consuming anything that they give you.
Correct.
It's actually that you can now choose what you want to be.
Absolutely. So you go ahead and say that I want to get up on stage and be able to speak fearlessly, or I want to stop nail biting, or I want to wake up and go to gym every day or eat better. So your conscious mind, you want to make this change. You're just not getting the support from your unconscious mind. You just don't know why. Like if I want to, I should be able to do it. Right? I mean, I cannot make it rain right now, right? Or change the temperature. But if I don't want to eat pastry, I should not. I should be able to do that. But when we feel so helpless and puzzled that I don't want to eat it, I don't want to smoke, but I'm unable to stop. Now think about that. When you feel that helplessness, that's when people come to professionals, and then they can be very easily helped, supported in that. But the decision is mine. The decision cannot be of the hypnotist or, you go ahead and say that I want to stop smoking. I want to stop eating sugar. And this is why I want to stop doing it. And then the hypnotist or hypnotherapist helps you to create that space where you empower yourself.
Yeah, I think that's important, because one misconception is that a hypnotherapist can make people or clients like do crazy things, or like I can plant ideas that I want to plant in them. But what is your point of view? Is it possible?
No, it's not possible. It's not possible. See, when you talk about the stage hypnosis, right? You choose a professional to touch your hair, to touch your nails, to touch your teeth, your doctor. So you choose a hypnotherapist who you have to have a good set of questions. You ask your hypnotherapist about their expertise. Now, hypnotherapy is a very wide range of subjects. It can work on very wide range of subjects. So what is the expertise of your hypnotist, of your hypnotherapist? What have they studied? Who have they worked with? So you do your research. I mean, I'm sure you don't let anyone cut your hair, your nails. So even for that, we do the research. The people have to take some responsibility. Are there some crazy people out there? For sure. Are there some unqualified doctors out there? Of course there are. So can there be unqualified, unskilled hypnotherapists? There can be. So I'm not going to deny that they can do some damage unconsciously, unintentionally. But people also have to take some responsibility in doing their homework. Exactly in the same way as we do it for any other work on my body.
But what are like some of the biggest harms that someone can have? Like, can we give some examples?
I have not seen any harm. I have not seen any harm being done personally in my life through hypnosis, because you relax the mind, and at worst, what the hypnotherapist is doing is basically, you want to stop smoking or you want to stop eating sugar. He's basically using your words and supporting your process. So there's no question of any harm done, So this is not brainwashing. It's not. Priests and politicians do that pretty well. They do brainwashing. We are in trance when we are listening. I mean, you think about what we did what happened in America on January 6th, I mean, people in their own country, we went and did something crazy, Our own government, White House people, so that is brainwashing. That's not hypnosis. Yeah. So the lines get blurry, but people have to take some responsibility in doing their homework, who they work with. Hypnotherapy, clinical hypnotherapy can do no harm.
But I was trying to think of example case, because people love cases, right?
Okay.
So I was thinking, for example, if someone comes with a weight loss problem,
Yeah.
Let's say the harm, if I would be a very bad therapist and I would want to harm people, let's say I put my client into the alpha state, and then I would start using the words like, I don't know, that I want to eat a lot of sugar, and like really working against it. Like this could be the most harm that could happen.
I mean, if some therapist is crazy enough to do that to a client,
Yeah, but I mean, that's what we're consuming every day. It's like in the advertisements, it's like, oh, eat this chocolate, drink this Coca-Cola. Like, I mean, it's actually nothing to be scared of. I mean, like, it would have to be extremely unlucky also to get this type of therapist. You have to be a bit like psychotic or something to want to harm people like that. But just to take off the fear from people is like, and if your therapist would start talking this way, you would get up and say that you're done.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, because we watch TVs and adverts, as you rightly said, we don't do everything that we see or we are told.
Yeah.
The choice is always ours. When we come back up, it is still, the action comes from the conscious mind. So I think it's very safe. Again, I will say, can there be a crazy? Of course possible. I know I'm not going to deny that. But someone that crazy, because then you are ruined, you'll get never another client probably.
Yeah, exactly. In today's world, it comes out very fast.
So easy, so quick, And, always to check work, Don't put all the burden and responsibility on the therapist. Do your share of the work, checking before you work with someone.
Because I think it's very important to also emphasize that the good changes, they also take time. Hypnosis is also not something that works as a miracle. I mean, it can work after one session for some cases, but most of the time you need several sessions.
Correct.
As well to work with the same issue.
Yeah.
So it's not like you hear those words, or we're working on a reprogramming your app for one time for an hour, and then you go out in the world and everything is changed.
No, it doesn't work that way. You're absolutely right. Affirmations don't change much. Action changes. So the action has to be taken by the client. So of course we work with the words, but then the action is what starts making the new synaptic connections in the brain, and where the new action starts to fire together. And that's how it gets wired together. So action is absolutely necessary. Without action, transformation doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And the action is always from the client. It's never from the hypnotist.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's
So even if I say go eat sugar,
Exactly. Yeah.
Like TV's saying it all day, you don't go ahead and do it.
Yeah. Also in advertising, we have to hear it like, I don't know what's the science there, like, I don't know, 50 times.
Yeah.
Then it's more likely that we're gonna go and take the chocolate.
in a movie, we are in full trance, but we don't go out and do crazy things what they show in movies.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But it is a very powerful tool to actually help your subconscious align and like to do the conscious work, because I believe that when people choose already hypnotherapy, is that they do have the need or the willingness to make this change.
Yeah.
Like there's rarely cases where people come and they're demotivated to have the change. Normally the pain is big enough.
Correct. Pain is the driver, and as I said, it's been spoken about so many podcasts about hypnosis. So many amazing people are speaking about it, supporting the process as a very powerful tool. That's why meditation is becoming so powerful. That's why hypnosis is becoming so powerful, because people are beginning to ask this question that, why am I not able to do what I want to do? How can I be so helpless? I am able to create such a big and successful company. But when it comes to my own behavior, why do I become so helpless? So people are asking these questions, and people are looking into possibilities. That's why meditation is becoming so big, because it's a very powerful tool, to make change. Hypnosis, again, is becoming very powerful for the same reason.
Can we talk a little bit about like some examples, like real life examples, for example? I would just like to get into people's minds, like what is hypnotherapy good for? Like, for example, if you have like some struggles, like when would you consider hypnotherapy?
Well, so many examples, like pain. Let's talk physical pain, if someone is dealing with healing pain. So hypnosis can help to even start the placebo effect and heal the body much faster. I have to speak on stage, I have issues about that. Hypnosis can be a very powerful tool, to ego strengthening, improving self-esteem and confidence. I want to change my behavior. I want to wake up early and go to gym. So that can be very, if I want to really work with my belief systems, that I believe something, it can be very powerful. Clinical use of hypnosis goes endless, it's endless uses of it. I can give you, and we have not even touched and talked about past lives, which is a very big subject. So a lot of unexplained things that are in people's life. You can even go into past lives and look at that. But before you even go there, most of the issues come from the young age, and they can be worked through age regression. 90+% of the issues usually come from the childhood, days. And age regression is a very easy way to go back and revisit that space and complete what needs to be completed. And heal that space and disassociate from it. Yeah.
Well, I think it's also very important that you brought up now, and also in our course. I think a lot of people want to believe or want to go into their past lives. I don't know, somehow it feels easier for people to think that it was connected to my past life.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But I think it's so important to work with this life first. Like, I really love that you're emphasizing this, that like actually most of the problems do come from this
100%.
this lifetime. Yeah.
If if past lives were important, we will have some memories of them, but 100% of us get it erased. So obviously there's a good reason for it. I mean, we can't deal with this life. Why worry about the past lives, or future lives? I mean, so I think this life is a gift, and this is what we should focus on, and whatever can support, empower me to live this life more joyfully, more peacefully, should be the focus. Yes, in some cases it becomes necessary, it becomes important. It is a tool available. Past life regression is a tool available. It can be used. It can help people. But yeah, you say it correctly. Most of the problems are from this lifetime.
So one of the biggest things, what is, like, you've been working as a hypnotherapist for how many years now?
I mean, professionally, I learned it 21 years ago, but professionally for about 16. Yeah,
it's a long time.
Yeah.
So do you see something, like, what is the biggest concentration of problems? Is there something, like, one field that is very dominant?
Yeah, I am not enough. I'm not good enough. I mean, and let's give the credit to the marketing companies. They have exploited this issue, that I'm not enough. So the biggest in childhood, the comparison and competition issues, then I am not enough, and this learned helplessness. So most of people's issues revolve around believing that I don't have the power to make the change. Yeah. So I'm helpless and somebody else should do this for me, right? So then I'm not good enough, that I am not good enough, and that comes from comparison and competition that we are always put against. So everything revolves usually around these subjects. Yeah.
But if you're talking about past life cases, you brought beautiful examples. It's like when something is really unexplainable, right? Like you experience something and you can't make sense of it.
Correct.
Like, do you mind giving some example of?
Yeah, a newborn child. I think I shared this story of a 2-year-old child, and just a normal, healthy, amazing, sweet, beautiful kid, cries himself to almost fainting state when mother is leaving for work in the morning. Only at that time, when she's leaving the house to go to work, the child just goes in hysteria, and there's nothing wrong with the child. He's a perfectly normal, cute, healthy 2-year-old kid. And the mother is puzzled and they don't know what to do with the situation. So that's when the mother wanted to explore the connection with his child in past life. That was looked at and resolved. Yeah. So there are many such stories, fascinating stories around, but unexplained issues usually when medically everything is okay, physically you're fine, and nothing makes sense. Yeah. That's when you want to look at.
But probably you look at this life before and, you try to figure out if there's something here and now.
Correct.
And then when it's like unexplained, then you're like,
correct.
It's a very good tool to go to the past lives.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. But, we don't have memories from our young ages, under 3 years, 4 years. So a lot of imprints come from there. So before crossing over into past life should not be done as joyrides. They are not, they are traumatic. They can be traumatic. They can be. So unless you have a good reason, I don't encourage past life regressions. So unless you can convince me with your story that it's necessary, then of course let's do it. But otherwise, no. There's plenty in this lifetime.
Yeah, for sure there is. Let's manage this one first. Yeah. So there's one more question that is coming up a lot for people, is that is it possible to not hypnotize some people, or is it not possible to go into this alpha state of mind? Is it harder for some and easier for others? What's your experience?
100% of people can be hypnotized. 100% of the people. Because everybody sleeps, everyone knows how to relax. So we go through alpha state every day in sleep. But skill sets of individuals can work with some, not work with some. So can the same hypnotherapists hypnotize the whole world? No. But can everyone be hypnotized? Yes. What are the requirements for being hypnotized? Some trust for yourself, because you're actually closing your eyes. So if you trust yourself, if you have some basic intelligence to understand the science, because you have to really understand what we are doing. We are in trance several times in a day. When we drive our cars to work 30 minutes and we reach there without knowing what happened on the way, you know, we are in trance. We take shower, we are in trance. We are somewhere else, you know, our body is in the shower. So some intelligence and some trust. Anyone with intelligence can be hypnotized. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. Is there something you feel like you would like to share with the audience? Something
I think you covered it so well. Because you did the training yourself and you are a meditator yourself. I think it was wonderful. Your questions, what you asked, what you want people to know in this country. I feel your sincerity. I feel your passion, and I know people will benefit a lot working with you and getting a taste of this science. Yeah, don't go with PhD. You know, if you're doing your first hypnosis session, don't go for your alcohol addiction. Try something small is what I would advise your clients. Come and try something simple, basics, and then build up the trust, build up the relationship, see the effect, how it's working, and then do the bigger work. You know, but this combination of hypnosis and meditation, I know will transform lives, you know, and I'm happy to hear that you're already feeling the change and difference, and I know your clients will benefit from it tremendously.
Thank you.
So thank you.
Thank you so much for being here, and thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and
you.
wisdom. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Really appreciate your invitation and enjoyed talking to you and your audience.
Thank you.
Thank you.